I have a very dear friend who lives in Australia. Unfortunately, we have never personally met. I hope to change that one day. His name is Tommy Stridham, and every now and then Tommy will send me a care package with the most brilliant blanks, and this is no exception. He cast this himself. It's colored pencils, and you can see that they have been put in a mold, and resin has been poured over them and cast to help hold them together. So I've gone ahead, and there were a couple of these blanks in the box. I've got one cut and tubed and ready to turn. So let's get this spinning and see just how well this blank turns. Well, this didn't go quite as well as I planned. The wood that they use to make these colored pencils is, in the States here, it's generally made out of pine, and it's a very soft pine. And with these pencils being long ways down the blank, I had a little catch. You can see where I had a tiny little catch on the end there, and it literally just split this apart. Now, it didn't stick real well to my tube. I would have hoped that it would have stuck a little better. I did use CA. One of the things that I hope to be moving to in the very near future is epoxy for my blanks. Now, I like to use CA when I'm turning for videos because it's fast drying and I can put a blank together and do a video very quickly. But something like this, I've got 2 or 3 more of these blanks, and before I turn another one, I will be using epoxy to attach it to the brass tube. This one's really not in bad shape. I think what I may do is go ahead and epoxy it back onto this tube, maybe turn the end of it off, and attempt to fix on this. So keep your eyes out for that. I think that may be in the very near future. Well guys, you win some, you lose some. I like to show my failures as well as my successes because I learn from my failures, and I think that it's a great teaching tool. This blank was turning out to be incredible. I mean, it looked amazing. Take a look at it. It was going to be awesome. You could see where I had a catch, and when I had that catch, it literally sheared the 2 halves of the blank right off of the brass tube. Now, the lesson to be learned here, I take a beating on this. When I do videos, 90% of the time, I'm using CA glue to glue tubes into my blanks. And I do that because CA is quick and I don't have a lot of time, so I want to glue it up and get it on the lathe to get the video together for you guys as quickly as possible. This was no exception. CA glue. My hope is I have recently purchased some Loctite epoxy, 2-part epoxy. Anytime I turn a pen as a gift for someone, I'll use epoxy because I need it to be sturdy. That's the lesson to be learned here. I've got, I think there were 3 of these blanks that Tommy sent me. I cut 1 in half, so I still have 2.5 blanks. I'm gonna do another one. The next one I do, I will use epoxy. Had I used epoxy, this wouldn't have sheared off of the tube. It would have probably just blown out that one little section there. And quite honestly, that's almost perfectly round. I think I could have patched that with a cutoff of a pencil and then put a little bit of CA in that corner there and leveled it out. So I think I could have made that work. And I may try that. Just right now I don't have the time, so I'm going to put this one aside. But for a future project, I may try epoxying this one back on the tube and try replacing that pencil and fill in that little gap. But there's a lesson to be learned. I really appreciate you guys following me, and when I do these dud videos like this, I always enjoy the comments. You know, sometimes they're really good and sometimes I get kicked a little bit. But you know what? We all are better turners for it. So, thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you joining me today in the shop. I want you to know that you are always welcome in my shop. Come back and see me again real soon, and have a wonderful evening, everybody.